Board of Selectmen re-vote on the interim town administrator's contract. The details coming up.
Plus, highlights from the Board of Public Works meeting. We'll update you on the fields, buildings, and more.
And later, our weekly segment, Library Learning. Looking for things to do? We've got you covered with fun library events.
And don't forget, this is your last chance to gather any unused or expired drugs for the East Longmeadow Police Department's annual Drug Take-Back Day.
Those stories and much more ahead on ELCAT News Update. Good evening, I'm Rebecca Green.
And I'm Allie Carrington.
We begin tonight with an update on Town Council candidates. As of Friday, April 21st, 41 residents have taken out papers in hopes to serve on the Town Council. They are Anthony Gentile Jr., Thomas J. Morissette, George C. Kingston, Jean L. Delaney, Kevin M. Manley, William R. Arment, V. Van Johnson III, Alan C. Lohman, Anthony J. Deaney, Paul Louis Federici, Louis J. Morbido, Kelly Marie Degnan, Gregory Thompson, Donald J. Anderson, Thomas C. O'Connor, Patricia A. Ahern, Brian A. Falk, Larry Levine, Joanne O'Brien, Eric H. Madison, Isabella Kokoyanakis, Michael J. Kane, William E. Jakes, Susan J. Grimaldi, Kathleen Hill, Joseph Ford, Sheila M. Dupree, Jefferson J. Petrie, Robert W. Fitzpatrick, Joseph Crosha, Lawrence J. Rinaldi, Carrie Ann H. Flynn, Catherine D. Yacunas, Ronald J. Cutler, Christina Diane Allen, Stephen Plifka, Russell Joseph Savadosa, Kevin Cortilli, Alan T. Brown, Carlene E. Fisher Hoffman, and Jeffrey L. Bosworth. With a large number of candidates, residents will have the opportunity to learn about each candidate during a special event called Candidates Night. The event will start with a meet and greet session followed by a public forum. To vote for the Town Council candidates, the election will be held on June 7th. If you are not already a registered voter, the last day to register is Wednesday, May 18th. Residents can register at the Town Clerk's office.
In more town government news, Greg Neffinger's contract was on the agenda for April 19th Board of Selectmen meeting. Neffinger and Selectman Bill Gorman were not present. Chair Paul Federici and Selectman Kevin Manley had to re-vote on Neffinger's contract due to an agenda error at a prior meeting.
What we have to do tonight is a twofold thing. We have to revoke the election we made to terminate the interim town administrator last time, and then re-vote, having it on the agenda tonight. So I would like to propose a motion to revoke our termination of the interim town administrator based on our vote of last meeting.
So moved.
I will second on the necessity. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to propose a motion to terminate our interim town administrator, effective immediately with his 10 days, his 10-day grace period starting today.
So moved.
I'll second on the necessity. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
The next Board of Selectmen meeting is scheduled for May 10th. Stay tuned for updates on the process of hiring a new interim town administrator.
Moving on to another town meeting, the Board of Public Works met on Wednesday, April 20th. East Longmeadow is in great shape when it comes to water and sewer rates compared to other surrounding towns.
A largely updated water and sewer rates for many of our adjoining communities. You can see that East Longmeadow remains in the bottom quartile of our adjoining communities. And there are many communities that are much higher, in some cases as much as twice as high as the town of East Longmeadow. So I think we're where we want to be. Maybe not the lowest and the lowest. Traditionally, for the past couple of years, has been the town of West Springfield. They transitioned to a water and sewer enterprise fund 2 or 3 years ago, and they're still working through subsidies off the general fund to get the water and sewer rates up to where they truly need to be to fully carry the cost of running their water and sewer business. So in talking with the superintendent there, his first comment was, Bob, that those rates still need to come up some more to be where they need to be.
The board also discussed transfer station fees. The Knowlton Transfer Station, located on Summers Road, allows residents to dispose of any large items, such as electronics and furniture. The transfer station has officially returned to summer hours. The station will be open Wednesdays and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Also at that meeting, Building Facilities Manager Bruce Fenney gives the board an update on projects and plans for the town's fields, buildings, and more.
In the next couple of weeks, going to be starting to get up to Pine Knoll and get the pool pumped out and the buildings up to snuff for opening in the first couple of weeks of June. So we'll be up there soon. Town Hall renovation projects, we have completed the demolition phase in the assessor's office. Actually, we've been out of there for probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks, because we have the abatement that's going to be taking place from Abide in the next couple of days, starting tomorrow morning. Next week, we'll be getting our studs in, all our wiring in place, and getting that portion of the project completed in the assessor's office, so then we can obviously move the assessors back in. I'm figuring about 2 to 3 weeks for that portion of the project to take place. Also, field report, the department has started cutting grass as of last week. Tuned up all the mowing equipment, everything else. Things have been running great. We also have lined and groomed all the fields for soccer, baseball, and lacrosse. So they're actively using those fields as of right now. Also, in your packet, I kind of given you a fertilizer management plan, I guess you can call it. We have at the top, you can see we have an athletic fertilization plan, and then a full fertilization plan for all our buildings. We've actually already put down our line at all our fields. We're actually, to step back a minute, we've actually are kind of trying to do the upper portion based on budget numbers. So we've actually purchased lime and put that down already, and we're actually putting down the pre-emergent step 1 portion of the 5-step program starting on Friday this week, and will be subsequently after notification to schools and the recreation department and all the parents in town that we will be putting down fertilizer in the next couple of weeks, and to get that fertilizer down to obviously help our grass and our fields get in a little better shape.
In other news, on Thursday, April 21st, the town held their annual budget hearing.
So let's first go over the revenues. What we're using for our revenue calculations is real estate and personal property taxes of $39,285,346. I will point out here that under Proposition 2.5, the town has the ability to tax up to $40,445,914. And as you'll see as I go throughout my presentation, the Appropriations Committee is bringing a recommendation that is about half of the taxation that we're allowed by law. Local receipts, just shy of $3.5 million. State aid, $11,552,749. Those numbers are the governor's numbers. As you know, the House this week is just debating the state budget. And from there it'll go to the Senate, then it will eventually go to a joint committee and hopefully eventually to the governor's desk. So given everything that could potentially happen, these numbers are relatively conservative by.
Now it's time for our weekly segment, Library Learning, where we let you know what events are coming up at the East Longmeadow Public Library. The first event will help you build a bright future. The second session for Not Your Mother's Job Search will teach you valuable computer skills. Participants will learn how to use online resources when searching for a job. The event takes place on Tuesday, May 3rd at 10:30 a.m.
The next program is for those who are not looking for a job, but a hobby. The program Not Just Knitting lets participants work on their needle project in a friendly and helpful atmosphere. This program is new to the library. All craft lovers are welcome to drop in on Thursday, May 5th at 10 a.m.
Lastly, a brand new event you won't want to miss. Get ready to relax and unwind when you sign up for Sensational Aromatherapy Workshop. This hands-on workshop will let you experience healing with natural oils. Participants will be able to create soothing products such as a dream pillow, bath salts, and more. Registration is required, so make sure you sign up at the library. The workshop takes place on Saturday, May 7th at 1 p.m.
Before we end tonight, a reminder for residents. This is your last chance to gather any unused or expired medication for the East Longmeadow Police Department's annual Drug Take-Back Day. According to the Drug Enforcement Administration, unused or expired medications are a public safety issue that may lead to accidental poisoning, overdose, and abuse. Drug Take-Back Day disposes medication in the correct way, protecting our health and environment. East Longmeadow Police Sergeant Dennis Sheehan explains.
Over the course of our 5 or 6 years that we've participated in this, we've collected over 1,000 pounds of drugs. And if you think about how minuscule a pill is, how much a pill weighs, that's quite a bit of drugs that we've diverted from the waste stream. It doesn't end up in a landfill leaching into the ground. It doesn't end up in our groundwater or our water supply. If somebody flushes it down the toilet, it ends up, eventually through the water cycle in the groundwater or drinking water. That's what we're trying to avoid. And most of the expired ones we find is somebody had an illness in the past and it's just hanging around left over, and that's what we want to get rid of. We want to get those out of the medicine cabinets and drawers and places like that. We find that kids are taking their parents' medications or their grandparents' medications, and they'll siphon off a few at a time so that somebody doesn't notice it. But the opiate crisis is in part fueled by these pain medications.
Drug Take-Back Day will be on Saturday, April 30th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the East Longmeadow Police Station on Summers Road. The process is easy. Drive up and drop off. No questions asked, and the program is completely confidential.
Well, that will do it for us tonight on this edition of ELCAT News Update.
Be sure to watch meetings on demand at our ELCAT YouTube channel, ELCAT 01028. Follow us on Facebook and watch us on cable channel 191. I'm Rebecca Green.
And I'm Allie Carrington. Until next time, good night.